Welcome, my friends, to the extra update exclusively on Facebook Live, exclusively here on Facebook Live and on Twitter. I'm Brandon Julian. On Tuesday, let me see if I can. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. Welcome, my friends, to the extra update, exclusively on Facebook Live and on Twitter. I'm Brandon Julian. On Tuesday, we learned that Senate lawmakers are demanding information about plans to close the Indian Point nuclear power plant that's that's around upstate New York, around Westchester County. Uh, but they're worried about like a nuclear disaster that could possibly happen, and also that it provides a quarter of the electricity between New York City and Westchester County. Republican Senator Terrence Murphy says that there has been a, air quote here, shocking lack of planning over this whole thing. We also learned, this happened yesterday, that the 19-year-old man who scaled Trump Tower has pleaded guilty to reckless endangerment and disorderly conduct. As part of his plea agreement, he'll have to continue mental treatment, and he'll also have to go back to school and/or work. One other big story we were talking about today was a British songwriter and guitarist is claiming that U2 and Bono stole one of their songs from their 1991 album Achtung Baby. Monday in Manhattan federal court, Paul Rose says that U2 lifted elements of his song Nae Slappin. I just want to point out for the record here that Nae Slappin sounds like the worst song that could possibly ever exist, but that's just my opinion. Rose is seeking credit, however, for the song The Fly and $5 million in damages and lawyers' fees. So that's just some of the stories. Excuse me. That's just some of the stories we talked about today on the update. What else? I'm looking through. You can't tell if we could look down the camera. I'm looking at the first ever script we did for the show. In my let me finish segment today. I talked about how you shouldn't need a test to define loyalty. You shouldn't need a test to define loyalty in a relationship. Because like I said on the air, like if people already know you're doing this, like don't make them do it 5 times. I mean, twice will do because the first one might have been a fluke. But beyond that, it's a relationship. It's not an aptitude test for the operation of heavy machinery. I digress. Let me look in here. What else did we talk about on the show? In our weird but true update, we talked about how a Democratic candidate's run for the legislature in Pennsylvania is down the drain, mainly because he used he didn't use a lot of water at the house he claimed as his residence. But the thing is, he didn't even live in the district. He found that, according to testimony, for a total of about 11 months, he used about 3,000 gallons. But that's still less the equivalent of less than 2 flushes a day. About 2 flushes a day. It's just a sad thing, really. What else is here? We did a lot of weather. We did traffic. It's basically, the show was about keeping everybody informed. With what they need to know. Why don't I give you guys an extra check as I try to turn the camera around, we turn the camera around here, and take a look at the radar composite. the radar composite. We're down here. So we pan the thing closer. That's us. We are, let's say right now, we are sitting at a comfortable, we are sitting here at a comfortable 57, we are sitting here at a comfortable 57 degrees. 57 degrees. Our winds are out of a southeast around 9 miles an hour, and our relative humidity is around 74%. Now, as we pan out the radar, you can see that we have rain over to the west. That's our rain and thunderstorms that are moving in that's our rain and thunderstorms you're reading for tomorrow. You can see how warm these temperatures are as you go down here, like 81 to 82 degrees, and the cooler air is trapped up north, like 37 degrees up here and 37, 32 degrees up here. But that's the rain that's coming in. That's the rain that's coming in time for tomorrow morning. That is the rain. That's the rain that'll be there in time for tomorrow morning's. That'll be the rain that's there in time for tomorrow morning's. Basically, I shouldn't say tomorrow morning, excuse me. Basically, any time tomorrow, there's a chance of rain, there's a chance of thunderstorms. Some of those thunderstorms can be heavy at times. So just please be careful. Be careful while you're out there tomorrow. It's going to be mild too. We're going to have a high of around 72 degrees tomorrow. We're at 72 degrees tomorrow. To put that in perspective, our normal high is only 45 degrees. So we're smashing highs right now, but we have no delays. We currently have no delays at our airports, and we have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms tomorrow. So just please be careful while you are out there. One last thing before we go. Two more things before we go. We're gonna check our traffic. Situation. We're gonna check our traffic situation right now. The information is not exactly up to date, but we're gonna give this information is about from an hour ago. You have road construction on the Bell Parkway eastbound between Bay Parkway and exit 5 and Crosby Avenue exit 6. You backed up all the way to I-278 and exit 3. The other major accident is that you have road construction blocking the right lane on the George Washington Bridge southbound at the lower level. So you have stop and go traffic, and you're backed up all the way across the span. You really have delays all the way across the span over here. So that's the stuff. One last thing before we go is our WKRB extra news time is now 1:15. We're gonna do a Facebook Live. We're gonna do a Facebook Live Twitter thing. We're gonna do a Facebook Live Twitter session after every show. So I'll be here. I'll be explaining anything that happened on the show, any late breaking stories. You can also follow me on Twitter at Brandon J's News, at the WKRB Update. So we'll be providing the most real-time information that we can, and we'll also be posting this stuff on YouTube. So please try to follow us there. And in the meantime, that is the extra update for today. In the words of Walter Cronkite, and that's the way it is. Tuesday, February 28th, 2017. I'm Brandon Julian. Have a great day, everybody. And I will see you tomorrow. At 11:30 for another edition of the update. Hope you'll join us then. So long.